Here we go, talk about business and people, life in general. When you're dealing with people, whether it's a friend or a family, or whether you're in a relationship, you have two different types of people in the world. You have your givers, then you have your users. People who normally give, they have good hearts. They like giving their time, their money. They love to give you a listening ear. They don't mind helping out. They don't mind giving you a ride. They don't mind doing things for you. Because their hearts are giving. And people who use just take everything, like water soaks into a sponge, and never give anything back to anyone else. So the enemy of the giver is the user. Those who are experiencing this, or those who are going through this, what are the telltale signs that someone is a user or are using you? What's a good way to measure this? How quick? What's a good way to measure this? If you gave a person something, how quick are they to give you something back in return, or give anything in return? And you notice, and you're constantly giving. You're constantly giving gifts, but you never give anything back. You never get anything back. How quick is this person to give you something in return? Or if they gave you anything in return, do you notice that you're constantly giving all the time? Here's an example. You're constantly giving gifts, but you don't get anything in return. You're constantly giving invitations to eat, or invitations to go somewhere, but yet they don't give it back in return. You start noticing that you are always the one that are giving, and they are always the one that are taking. Then you got to watch the other aspect of the users. And the other aspect of the users is that they're giving you something in return, but they're doing it because they're expecting something greater from you. That's the second aspect of the user. Just because they gave you something back doesn't equally mean that they're giving back. When someone uses you, you feel horrible. You feel like, why is this happening to me? Why did I not see this? And you're just beating yourself up. And how did you allow yourself to get into this situation? You don't want to be stuck in situations like that when people are using you constantly. You don't want to be stuck when people are constantly using for all these different things. A good way to measure this is to measure how much you're giving to this particular person, and then measure how much you're getting in return from this person. If they never call you and offer anything to you on their own without you even calling or telling them, without even you giving them a guilty conscience, stuff like saying, well, man, I gave you this, I gave you that, how come you didn't do this? How come you didn't give this to me? You know, just to spare in a moment, calls or a text and say, hey, listen, man, I got some extra money and I want to treat you out to dinner. I know you've treated me in the past, and I just want to show my appreciation and gratitude. Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, nah, man, that's the least I could do, man. You've been good to me. If they don't do that, you're dealing with somebody who's constantly using. And you can be used just outside of money. Hey, you could be used for your love. That's right. But they could never give love back. They want all your hugs. They want all your kisses, all your sexing. All the sexing that they could get from you, but you don't really get that in return. Maybe they just want you to listen to their problems. You know? They want to maybe put all their problems on you. But when you have a problem, and you're hurting, and you come to them, now all of a sudden, they don't have time. They're working, they got something going on, you're making excuses, but they don't never have time. People could use you for the sake of your company. They just want you around because they're lonely. But when you're lonely, they're nowhere to be found. People that are using you, get away from them. Run far away. They're only going to hurt you in the end. There's nothing good that's going to come out of someone using you. There's nothing good that's going to come out of that particular relationship from them using you. There are people that are equal to you that'll give you just as much that you give them, if not more. These are the people you want to be around. Surround yourself with like-minded folks. Users are plenty, just as much as givers are plenty. So you need to distinguish in life who are these users and who are these givers. Just as much, just as equal as givers as you. How many people have been hurt? How many people have gotten to the point that they want to kill themselves because people just use them all their life? So basically what I'm trying to say is that you allowed this to happen. It's no one's fault but your own, because they kept doing it and you didn't put a stop to it. So when you notice that you're giving things and not getting nothing in return, the solution is cut it off and don't give them nothing until they either give it back, or one or two things is going to happen. Either they're going to realize the error and give it back to you, or they're just going to get away from you because they can't get nothing else from you. It's best you cut it off rather than later in the years feel bad because down the line, because you done gave too much over the years. People, they've been in marriages, long time relationships, then to come find out years later, all this time, they've been using you. And how they found out, they lost their job, they left them, they got sick, and then they left them. And all they cared about is what they could get out of you. So play closer. Sorry about that. My memory said it was full, so I had to delete some stuff real quick. So you guys got to pay attention. Our time on Earth is too short for people to be using and taking things from us and just soaking things up like a sponge and not letting anything release in return, leaving you high and dry and parched like the Sahara Desert. And you can't get nothing back in return. They leave you high and dry. so dry that you can taste it. You can taste it in your mouth. So much that you're drowning in all this sand. Now you're just coughing up dry stuff. But, so think about that when you're dealing with people. Do not let people use you. If they are using you, pay attention to the signs. Pay attention. The signs are there. No user is so clever that you won't notice that they're using you. No user is so clever that you won't know they're using you. But be keen to these things and don't sit there and not do anything about it. You'll be alright. But this is Maul, Macafacalacca. Peace, peace, peace.